Hey everyone, hope y'all are having a good holiday. I wanted to talk briefly about the student loan collections machine that has been on pause since before the pandemic and how it is starting up again and what it's going to do to folks and what people need to be aware of with it. So I would anticipate that one of the first things the Trump administration is going to do on student loans is just to simply restart the giant collections machine the government has with its very powerful powers of collecting money when people are delinquent or behind in their student loan payments. And so what that means is, during the pandemic, there's basically, and after even the student loan pause, there's been really zero, negative consequences to not paying your student loans. And the Biden administration has kicked that can down the road multiple times. Even when they said they would restart the collections machine, they ended up not doing it. So that's definitely going to be changed for the Trump administration. They're definitely going to have consequences for folks that don't pay for their student loans. I'm not talking about the Save Plan forbearance. That's going to be decided, and that's not going to impact people, that are on that forbearance. So don't worry about that. But if you are not making payments when you're supposed to, and you're not on any kind of, economic hardship forbearance that you apply for specifically, then they will potentially report negative information to the credit bureaus, which they haven't done, like I said, since before the pandemic started. And so what does that mean for folks? Well, it means that you do need to be ready for that Eighth Circuit Court decision that we're all waiting on to see how exactly they're going to rule, what they're going to say that they're going to keep, what plans they're not going to keep. One interesting way that they might eliminate all these IDR recertification delays is if you simply have a court say every plan besides IBR is illegal, that would force most everybody into recertifying for a new plan regardless of when your recertification date is. And so they might suddenly demand your most recent tax return information if that event were to occur. So it is real important that folks be paying attention to how they file their 2024 tax returns, because that's going to matter, especially if the courts come out of nowhere and just, throw a ruling out there saying that the only plan that's an option is the IBR plan. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but it's something that you'd want to be prepared for. Nobody really knows when the Eighth Circuit Court decision is going to happen. I thought it was going to happen before the holidays, but then obviously it didn't. And so, as we have a lot of things happen in the next couple weeks, I think that with the way the calendar works this year with the holidays, I think, the first week back, January 6th to 10th, the new Congress is going to be getting installed. Everybody's going to be in Washington fighting over who's going to be, the speaker and all those sorts of things, who's going to have all the committee chair spots. And then, the second week is, I think, when you're going to start seeing some real activity. So that's like that January 13th to 18th kind of week. That's when, all the civil servants are, it's last full work week, right? If we're civil servants and, Biden administration folks can do anything, right? And then the following week, you have that new Trump administration come in, and then we will start seeing, kind of what they do. It's going to be real interesting to see kind of what their first actions are. It will take some time for the new Department of Ed team to get installed too. And remember that the income-based repayment plan, the IBR plan, is in the law. It is safe. It can't be changed without 60 votes in the Senate. So the IBR plan is very safe. And, any IDR application right now, I'm going to be real honest, is just sitting on a desk somewhere. It's not being processed actively. The student loan servicers have gone home for the holidays pretty much, and they are just, I think, probably doing their best to just wait it out as long as they can before they actually process anything. And the Department of Ed is not really doing them any favors. They're not really helping them at all, telling them what to do either. So everybody's just stuck waiting to hear what's going to happen with the courts, waiting to see what happens with the Trump administration's first 100 days. But the good news, if there is good news, is I think we're going to get a lot of clarity between now and I would say early spring of 2025. I think a lot of things are going to happen in rapid fire succession. You're going to start getting a lot of, sort of decisions being made, a lot of policy decisions, happening. Also, keep in mind the entire tax code has to be rewritten. Why? It's because the Trump tax cuts expire at the end of 2025. The provisions that make student loan forgiveness tax-free expire at the end of 2025. So many of these things expire at the end of 2025. It's going to force Congress to come in and, redo a bunch of things because they have no other choice. And, I think that some folks are also wondering, well, what's my lowest payment going to be? I think the good news is with IBR, there's always an option to do a lot of smart planning, minimize your taxable income, get payments that are as low as possible. For people that have Parent Plus loans, it's not a good option, but the ICR plan, even if they do block all the different stuff that they're wanting to do with all these plans, you can still make some strategic choices about, whose name do you put the loans in? How do you file your taxes? How can you potentially put extra money away in your retirement to lower that AGI to get that low payment? So we'll cover all the strategies. I don't want to keep y'all too long because it's technically still the holidays. I've got company that's staying over in the room I usually record or podcast in, so I've got to keep it short. But if you have any comments or questions, put them in the comments below, and we'll look forward to covering all this stuff as it comes out, probably in rapid fire succession in the coming weeks. Thank you for following Student Loan Planner.